if organizations would take an opportunity, especially after this year, just to step back, pause, release the self-righteousness,
Right.
and just see some of the mistakes that are there, research the data, see what's going on in talent trends and forecasting, and just settle into like, why don't we look at a different way?
Yeah.
Or how about we look at another way? Because even now, you know, the mass resignation and everything that we're seeing with the exodus of talent and the boom of gig economy, and your scholars are just going to be, they're going to be gig aficionados.
Yes,
they are.
I can't even count on my hands now how
you keep
many
posting
of them
on LinkedIn. I'm
are,
like, you go. Yeah.
doing their own thing. Like, I don't need to answer to anybody.
Yeah.
I got this. I can do it myself.
Yeah. And so I think we're seeing earlier, like for them, like, and these jobs that they've left, like good for them.
Yeah.
Good for them. We told y'all it was coming up. The resignation. If you don't start being, let's start with kindness. If you just don't start being kind to your employees, they're going to leave. And the data isn't now, all the research, is now caught up to them.
Yep.
And now people are like, well, what do we do? It's like, take a deep breath. You got to go back into nurturing and cultivating in your communities.
You have to remember, like, these are people that work for you. Like, these are still people at the end of the day. And it's really interesting. So I'm getting actually ready to transition from my role at Kauffman Scholars, since the program is getting ready to sunset next year, and, you know, fulfill that commitment.
I love that, sunset.
Yes, we want to use positive language.
It is. I love
it's
it.
Ending. Like, no,
it's sunset.
It's sunsetting. Like, it's a bittersweet thing, but it's you know, we've done great work, and
I didn't have to close my franchise. It was a sunset.
It's sunset.
It was the franchise sunset.
So, you know, I had to do a exit survey, and one of the questions asked, "Does your supervisor do you believe your supervisor thinks of you or as a person first?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
I hope so.
That. Oh yeah, I was like 100%. Shout out to Nisha Ford.
Yeah.
She's amazing. That is why I hate to leave, because she is a person that cares about the people that work, that, you know, report to her. As she cares about them as people first, not as associates, not as, you know, coaches, or, you know, whatever your title is. You are a person first. She doesn't ask any questions. If, like, you know, you have a family member you have to tend to, you know, you have a child. She is very much about the person. And so I'm really glad that they asked that question on the exit survey, and that I could honestly say, like, oh, 100%. I think I put 1000% in the comments box, because I'm very gracious, and I'm very proud to have called her not only my supervisor, but my friend. And I think that's why
wonderful.
We are friends, because she does. And I feel like that's everybody that works for the organization, is that people care about each other as people.
Yeah, what's wrong with a friendship, or you know, that allyship friendship within an organization? Those are the bonds that really keep an organization going, and keep your teams going.
But I think supervisors, you know, people who are set in their old ways, are afraid that if I cross that line and that boundary between employee and supervisor or manager, that relationship is going to, you know, the employee is going to take advantage of that in some shape or form. And I don't know why, but I feel like that is why our team is so strong, and why our organization is so strong. I know a lot of people so we are at the Kauffman Foundation, and a lot of the other Kauffman associates that work there are always admiring our team. They can see it.
Yeah, it's a texture.
They can see, like,
it.
you guys get along so well. You guys seem like you guys are really happy over there. You guys do, like, team builders. You hang out with each other outside of work, and they see it.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
You're right. And that's, I mean, it sounds so simple. Like, all you do, you just treat your employees like people, but it's still, I think it just comes from, you know, the history of work.
I think it comes from a group that well, not a group. I'll say I think it definitely comes from that's been the system.
Yeah.
It's like you're my employee, I'm your boss.
Yes.
There's a line we need to make sure to keep here. And
Right.
it's like, well, that never got me anywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that we have this generation of workforce that's coming up and coming into these leadership positions, and they're saying like, no, that's not helped.
I think it's just establishing like respect. Like you
Yeah.
can still have respect for one another and still have those like that
Mhm.
supervisor employee relationship and have respect for one another, but not make it so like robotic and impersonal. Like I'm a person, you're a person.
Mhm.
Like why can't we establish that and develop that trust and that relationship? But I think that's why, you know, students are going into jobs saying, you know, I don't feel like people care about me here, that I'm thought about here as a person. My input isn't respected. And so I'm out.